Ladies and gentlemen, today we delve into a topic that has sparked global intrigue and concern: how Dubai, a city known for its opulence, innovation, and ambition, has also become a haven for criminals from around the world. This transformation is not just a tale of wealth and luxury, but also one of loopholes, exploitation, and the darker side of globalization. Dubai's emergence as a magnet for criminal activity is inextricably linked to its unique position on the world map. Nestled at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, the city has long served as a bridge between continents, cultures, and economies. This geographic advantage, while a cornerstone of its economic success, has also been weaponized by criminals to facilitate illicit global operations. Historically, Dubai's rise as a trading hub dates back centuries, with its ports acting as gateways for spices, gold, and textiles. In the modern era, this legacy evolved into a hyper-connected metropolis boasting one of the world's busiest international airports, Dubai International, DXB, and the sprawling Jebel Ali port, the largest man-made harbor on the planet. These infrastructures, designed to streamline global commerce, have inadvertently become arteries for criminal enterprises. The city's air connectivity is particularly striking. With over 80 million passengers passing through its airports annually, Dubai serves as a layover hub for flights connecting virtually every major city worldwide. This transient nature allows criminals to operate under the radar. Fugitives, for instance, exploit Dubai as a temporary hideout, using its visa-on-arrival policies and lax tourist vetting to disappear into the crowd. Similarly, traffickers of drugs, arms, or humans leverage the city's logistical efficiency to move contraband. A shipment bound for Europe might be rerouted through Dubai's ports, where oversight in free trade zones is often fragmented, enabling the repackaging or relabeling of illegal goods to avoid detection. Moreover, Dubai's proximity to conflict zones and politically unstable regions amplifies its vulnerability. Its location near the Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia, regions plagued by terrorism, organized crime, and corruption, makes it a convenient refuge for those seeking to evade law enforcement. For example, individuals involved in war profiteering or smuggling antiquities from conflict-ridden areas like Syria or Yemen have been known to funnel proceeds through Dubai's real estate market or luxury goods sector, capitalizing on the city's appetite for high-value transactions. The city's role as a financial and tourism hotspot further complicates oversight. Luxury hotels, yacht clubs, and sprawling malls cater to a transient, anonymous clientele, creating environments where illicit deals can be brokered discreetly. A drug cartel member from Latin America, a fraudster from Europe, or a corrupt official from Africa can all blend seamlessly into Dubai's cosmopolitan tapestry, shielded by the city's emphasis on privacy and its reluctance to scrutinize wealthy visitors. In essence, Dubai's geography is a double-edged sword. While its connectivity has fueled unprecedented prosperity, it has also rendered the city a choke point for global crime, a place where borders blur, enforcement lags, and opportunists thrive. The very infrastructure that cements Dubai as a city of gold also unwittingly greases the wheels of transnational criminal networks, turning strategic advantage into systemic risk. Dubai's golden visa programs, introduced as part of the UAE's broader strategy to attract foreign investment and talent, have become a double-edged sword. While these initiatives have successfully drawn entrepreneurs, investors, and skilled professionals to the city, they have also inadvertently created a pathway for individuals with questionable backgrounds to secure long-term residency and, in some cases, evade justice. The allure of a golden visa, offering residency for 5 to 10 years with the possibility of renewal, lies in its promise of stability, access to world-class amenities, and a gateway to global opportunities. However, this very appeal has been exploited by criminals seeking to legitimize their presence in a jurisdiction known for its opulence and relative insulation from international legal pressures. The Golden Visa Program, launched in 2019, initially targeted high-net-worth individuals, real estate investors, and exceptional talents in fields like science, arts, and technology. To qualify, applicants could either invest a minimum of AED 10 million, approximately 2.7
5.
2.7 million in the UAE, purchase property worth at least AED 5 million, 1.36 million, or demonstrate exceptional professional achievements. On the surface, these criteria appear stringent, but the lack of rigorous background checks and the program's emphasis on financial contributions over moral or legal standing have allowed individuals with dubious histories to slip through the cracks. For instance, individuals accused of financial crimes, corruption, or even organized crime in their home countries have been able to secure golden visas by meeting the financial thresholds. In some cases, the funds used to qualify for the visa are themselves the proceeds of illicit activities, effectively laundering not just money, but also the individual's reputation. Once granted, the visa provides a veneer of legitimacy, enabling the holder to establish businesses, open bank accounts, and integrate into Dubai's high society. This legitimacy can be leveraged to further criminal enterprises such as money laundering, fraud, or even human trafficking under the guise of legitimate business operations. The real estate investment route, in particular, has been a popular avenue for criminals. By purchasing high-value properties, often through shell companies or intermediaries, individuals can meet the golden visa requirements while simultaneously parking illicit funds in a stable and appreciating asset class. The lack of transparency in Dubai's real estate market, particularly in free zones and offshore jurisdictions, further complicates efforts to trace the origins of these investments. A 2021 report by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime highlighted how Dubai's property market has become a haven for dirty money, with golden visas serving as a complementary tool for criminals to secure long-term residency and access to financial systems. Another concerning aspect of the Golden Visa program is its appeal to individuals fleeing legal troubles in their home countries. For example, politicians accused of embezzlement, business leaders involved in large-scale fraud, or even individuals linked to organized crime have sought refuge in Dubai, using the Golden Visa as a shield against extradition or prosecution. The UAE's limited extradition treaties with many countries, combined with the perceived reluctance to cooperate with foreign law enforcement agencies in cases involving high-profile individuals, make Dubai an attractive destination for those seeking to evade justice. Moreover, the program's expansion to include a broader range of professionals, such as doctors, engineers, and artists, has introduced additional vulnerabilities. While many applicants are undoubtedly legitimate, the lack of comprehensive vetting mechanisms means that individuals with falsified credentials or hidden criminal histories can still qualify. In one notable case, a European national with a history of financial fraud was able to secure a golden visa by presenting fabricated documents and leveraging connections within Dubai's business community. Once in the country, the individual established a network of shell companies to continue fraudulent activities, exploiting the city's business-friendly environment. The Golden Visa program also intersects with Dubai's broader culture of discretion and privacy, which, while appealing to legitimate investors, can be exploited by those with nefarious intentions. Visa holders benefit from the UAE's emphasis on confidentiality, which extends to financial transactions, property ownership, and even personal data. This culture of secrecy, combined with the long-term stability offered by the Golden Visa, creates an environment where criminals can operate with reduced risk of exposure. In essence, while the Golden Visa program has been a cornerstone of Dubai's strategy to position itself as a global hub for talent and investment, its unintended consequences cannot be ignored. The program's focus on financial contributions over ethical considerations, coupled with inadequate vetting mechanisms, has made it a tool for individuals seeking to legitimize their presence in a city that offers both luxury and a degree of legal insulation. As Dubai continues to refine its residency policies, striking a balance between attracting legitimate investors and preventing abuse by criminals will remain a critical challenge. Dubai's transformation into a financial oasis for criminals is deeply rooted in the structural vulnerabilities of its economic framework. While the city has made strides in recent years to align with international anti-money laundering (AML) standards, its historical prioritization of rapid growth over robust regulatory oversight created fertile ground for illicit financial flows. For decades, Dubai's ambition to become a global business hub led policymakers to adopt a permissive approach to capital movement, banking secrecy, and corporate ownership, policies that, while attracting legitimate investors, also open the door to exploitation by bad actors. At the heart of this issue lies Dubai's proliferation of offshore financial structures and free zones. Entities such as the Dubai International Financial Center, DFC, and the Jebel Ali Free Zone, JAFZA, were designed to attract foreign investment by offering tax exemptions, streamlined incorporation processes, and minimal disclosure requirements. However, these same features became tools for criminals to obscure ownership, layer transactions, and legitimize dirty money. Shell companies, often registered under nominee directors with no real ties to the business, could be established within days, enabling fraudsters, corrupt officials, and organized crime syndicates to move funds anonymously. For instance, proceeds from drug trafficking in Latin America, embezzled public funds from Africa, or bribes paid in European contracts have all been funneled through Dubai-based entities, masked as legitimate trade or investment. The real estate sector, a cornerstone of Dubai's economy, has been particularly susceptible to abuse. Until recent reforms, the market operated with scant transparency, allowing buyers to purchase multi-million-dollar properties through cash transactions or opaque offshore vehicles. High-end developments like Palm Jumeirah or downtown Dubai became safe deposit boxes for illicit wealth, with criminals parking funds in luxury apartments, villas, and commercial towers. The lack of mandatory beneficial ownership registries meant that law enforcement agencies struggled to trace the true individuals behind these acquisitions. Even today, despite incremental improvements, gaps persist. A 2020 report by the Financial Action Task Force, FATF, highlighted concerns over the real estate sector's continued exposure to money laundering, citing weak due diligence by brokers and developers. Similarly, Dubai's thriving luxury goods market, encompassing gold, diamonds, watches, and luxury vehicles, has been weaponized for money laundering. The city's gold souk, one of the largest gold trading hubs globally, has faced recurring allegations of handling conflict minerals or serving as a conduit for gold washing, where illegally mined gold from regions like Central Africa is rebranded with Dubai certifications. Meanwhile, the absence of stringent reporting thresholds for cash purchases of high-value items enables criminals to convert large sums of illicit cash into tangible assets, effectively erasing the money's criminal origins. Compounding these issues is the fragmented regulatory landscape. While federal agencies like the UAE Central Bank and the Ministry of Economy have authority over financial crimes, enforcement has historically been inconsistent, particularly in free zones that operate with semi-autonomous governance. For years, regulatory arbitrage allowed criminals to exploit jurisdictional overlaps, for example, registering a company in a free zone to bypass federal AML checks. Even as Dubai introduced stricter laws, such as the 2018 AML decree and the establishment of the Executive Office for Anti-Money Laundering, implementation has lagged. A 2022 investigation by the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, OCCRP, revealed how Russian oligarchs and sanctioned entities continued to use Dubai's financial system to evade Western sanctions, leveraging local enablers like complicit bankers and lawyers. Moreover, Dubai's culture of financial discretion, initially cultivated to attract private wealth, has been manipulated to shield criminal activity. Private banking services, family offices, and hawala networks, informal money transfer systems, operate with limited scrutiny, enabling the movement of funds without the paper trail required in more regulated jurisdictions. This secrecy, combined with the city's reluctance to aggressively prosecute white-collar crimes involving high-net-worth individuals, has perpetuated a perception of impunity. In essence, Dubai's financial ecosystem, a marvel of modern capitalism, has been hijacked by those who recognize the blurred line between innovation and exploitation. The very mechanisms designed to fuel economic dynamism have, in the shadows, empowered a parallel economy where crime pays and accountability is deferred. While recent reforms signal progress, the legacy of lax regulations continues to cast a long shadow, underscoring the challenges of retrofitting integrity into a system built for speed and scale. Dubai's reputation as a safe haven for criminals is significantly bolstered by its limited and often ineffective extradition agreements with other countries. Extradition treaties are legal frameworks that allow one country to request the transfer of an individual accused or convicted of a crime from another country to face justice. However, the UAE, and by extension Dubai, has a relatively narrow network of such treaties, and even where agreements exist, enforcement is often inconsistent or subject to political and diplomatic considerations. This legal gap has made Dubai an attractive destination for individuals seeking to evade prosecution or imprisonment in their home countries. The UAE has extradition treaties with only a handful of nations, primarily within the Arab world, and a few European countries. Notably absent are comprehensive agreements with major Western powers such as the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom, as well as with many Asian and African nations. This patchwork of treaties creates significant loopholes that criminals can exploit. For example, a fugitive from a country without an extradition treaty with the UAE can effectively live in Dubai without fear of being returned to face justice. Even in cases where treaties exist, the process is often lengthy, bureaucratic, and prone to delays, giving criminals ample time to secure legal representation, exploit procedural loopholes, or even relocate to another jurisdiction. One of the most glaring examples of this issue is the case of high-profile white-collar criminals and corrupt officials who have fled to Dubai to escape prosecution. Individuals accused of embezzlement, fraud, or bribery in their home countries have found refuge in Dubai's luxurious environment, where they can live comfortably while their legal battles drag on. In some instances, these individuals have used their wealth to invest in Dubai's real estate or business sectors, further embedding themselves in the local economy and complicating efforts to extradite them. The lack of transparency in Dubai's financial and legal systems often means that the origins of these investments are not thoroughly scrutinized, allowing criminals to maintain their lifestyles while avoiding accountability. Another factor that weakens the extradition process is the UAE's dual criminality requirement, which stipulates that an act must be considered a crime in both the requesting country and the UAE for extradition to be granted. This requirement can be a significant barrier, particularly in cases involving financial crimes, corruption, or political offenses, where legal definitions and enforcement priorities may differ between jurisdictions. For example, a crime classified as embezzlement in one country might not meet the threshold for prosecution under UAE law, allowing the accused to remain free. Additionally, the UAE's judicial system places a strong emphasis on national sovereignty and often prioritizes domestic interests over international cooperation, further complicating extradition requests. Political and diplomatic considerations also play a significant role in the extradition process. The UAE's foreign policy, which emphasizes maintaining strong bilateral relationships, can influence decisions on whether to extradite individuals. In cases where the accused has connections to influential figures or where extradition could strain diplomatic ties, requests may be denied or indefinitely delayed. This politicization of the extradition process undermines its effectiveness and creates an environment where criminals can exploit geopolitical dynamics to their advantage. Moreover, the UAE's legal system includes provisions that allow individuals to challenge extradition requests on various grounds, including human rights concerns or the potential for unfair treatment in the requesting country. While these provisions are intended to protect individuals from unjust prosecution, they can also be manipulated by criminals to delay or avoid extradition. High-profile cases have seen individuals accused of serious crimes, including money laundering and fraud, successfully arguing that they would not receive a fair trial in their home countries, thereby stalling the extradition process indefinitely. The lack of robust international cooperation in law enforcement further exacerbates the issue. While the UAE is a member of Interpol and has signed agreements to combat transnational crime, practical cooperation on the ground often falls short. Law enforcement agencies in other countries frequently report difficulties in obtaining timely and accurate information from their UAE counterparts, hindering investigations and extradition efforts. This lack of coordination creates a perception of impunity, encouraging criminals to view Dubai as a safe haven where they can operate without fear of being held accountable. In summary, Dubai's weak extradition framework, characterized by limited treaties, bureaucratic hurdles, and political considerations has made it a magnet for individuals seeking to evade justice. The city's luxurious lifestyle, combined with its legal and diplomatic insulation, provides a perfect refuge for those accused of serious crimes. While the UAE has taken steps to improve international cooperation in recent years, the gaps in its extradition system remain a significant challenge, allowing criminals to exploit the city's vulnerabilities and undermining global efforts to combat transnational crime. Dubai's reputation as a playground for the rich and famous is one of its most defining characteristics. The city's skyline, dotted with architectural marvels like the Burj Khalifa and the Palm Jumeirah, its sprawling luxury malls, and its opulent hotels and resorts, have made it a global symbol of wealth and extravagance. This allure of a high-end lifestyle, however, has also made Dubai a magnet for individuals seeking to escape scrutiny, including criminals who wish to blend into a world where wealth often overshadows questions of origin or morality. The city's emphasis on luxury, privacy, and exclusivity creates an environment where individuals with dubious backgrounds can thrive, shielded by the glittering facade of affluence. One of the most significant aspects of Dubai's luxury lifestyle appeal is its real estate market. The city's high-end properties, ranging from waterfront villas to penthouses and iconic skyscrapers, are not just investments, but also status symbols. For criminals, these properties serve a dual purpose. They provide a luxurious lifestyle while also acting as a means to launder money. By purchasing real estate through shell companies or intermediaries, individuals can obscure the origins of their wealth and integrate illicit funds into the legitimate economy. The anonymity afforded by Dubai's property market, particularly in free zones and offshore jurisdictions, makes it an attractive option for those looking to hide their assets. For example, a corrupt official from a developing country might purchase a multi-million-dollar villa in Emirates Hills, using embezzled funds, and live a life of luxury while evading justice in their home country. The luxury goods market in Dubai is another key component of its appeal. The city is home to some of the world's most exclusive shopping destinations, including the Dubai Mall and Mall of the Emirates, where brands like Chanel, Rolex, and Ferrari cater to the ultra-wealthy. For criminals, these high-end goods offer a way to convert illicit cash into tangible assets that can be easily transported or resold. A drug trafficker, for instance, might use proceeds from illegal activities to purchase luxury watches or jewelry, which can then be sold in other markets for clean money. The lack of stringent reporting requirements for cash purchases of luxury items further facilitates this process, allowing criminals to operate with minimal risk of detection. Dubai's hospitality industry also plays a significant role in its luxury lifestyle appeal. The city's five-star hotels, such as the Burj Al Arab and Atlantis the Palm, are renowned for their opulence and exclusivity. These establishments often cater to a clientele that values privacy and discretion, making them ideal for individuals seeking to avoid attention. Criminals can use these venues to host meetings, broker deals, or simply enjoy a lavish lifestyle without drawing suspicion. The hospitality sector's reliance on cash transactions and its emphasis on customer privacy further enable illicit activities, as high-value payments for suites, private dining, or entertainment can be made without leaving a paper trail. The city's nightlife and entertainment scene also contribute to its allure. Dubai's nightclubs, beach clubs, and exclusive members-only venues are frequented by the global elite, offering a space where wealth and status are the primary currencies. For criminals, these venues provide an opportunity to network, socialize, and legitimize their presence in high society. A fraudster or money launderer, for example, might frequent these establishments to build connections with influential individuals, gaining access to new opportunities for illicit activities. The culture of exclusivity and discretion in these spaces ensures that questions about an individual's background or source of wealth are rarely asked, allowing criminals to operate with impunity. Dubai's luxury lifestyle appeal is further enhanced by its status as a global transportation hub. The city's world-class airports and airlines, such as Emirates and Fly Dubai, offer seamless connectivity to destinations around the world. For criminals, this connectivity is a crucial advantage, enabling them to move freely between jurisdictions while maintaining a base in Dubai. A fugitive, for instance, might use Dubai as a transit point, staying in luxury hotels, and enjoying the city's amenities while planning their next move. The ease of travel, combined with the city's emphasis on privacy, makes it an ideal location for those seeking to evade law enforcement. The cultural normalization of wealth and luxury in Dubai also plays a role in its appeal to criminals. In a city where conspicuous consumption is celebrated, individuals with questionable backgrounds can easily blend in. The emphasis on outward displays of success, whether through luxury cars, designer clothing, or extravagant parties, means that questions about the source of wealth are often overlooked. This culture of acceptance creates an environment where criminals can thrive, using their wealth to gain social status and influence while avoiding scrutiny. In summary, Dubai's luxury lifestyle appeal is a double-edged sword. While it has cemented the city's status as a global hub for the wealthy and powerful, it has also made it a haven for individuals seeking to escape accountability. The combination of opulent real estate, high-end goods, exclusive hospitality, and a culture that prioritizes wealth over questions of origin creates an environment where criminals can operate with relative impunity. As Dubai continues to attract the world's elite, addressing the darker side of its luxury appeal will remain a critical challenge for policymakers and law enforcement agencies. Dubai's cash-based economy, particularly in sectors such as real estate, luxury goods, and informal markets, has long been a magnet for illicit financial activities. While cash transactions are a legitimate and integral part of any economy, the scale and opacity of cash dealings in Dubai have created an environment ripe for exploitation by criminals. The absence of stringent reporting requirements and the prevalence of high-value cash transactions enable money laundering, tax evasion, and other financial crimes to flourish under the radar. One of the most prominent sectors affected by this issue is real estate. Dubai's property market, known for its luxury developments and high returns, has historically been a favored destination for cash-rich investors. Until recent reforms, it was common for buyers to purchase multi-million-dollar properties using suitcases of cash, with little to no documentation required. This practice allowed individuals to launder large sums of money by converting illicit cash into legitimate assets. For example, drug traffickers, corrupt officials, and organized crime syndicates have been known to buy luxury apartments, villas, or commercial properties in Dubai, effectively cleaning their money while acquiring valuable assets. The lack of mandatory reporting thresholds for cash transactions in real estate meant that these deals often went unnoticed by authorities, creating a parallel economy where dirty money could seamlessly integrate into the legitimate market. The luxury goods sector is another area where cash transactions facilitate criminal activity. Dubai's reputation as a shopping paradise, with its sprawling malls and high-end boutiques, attracts buyers from around the world. However, the absence of strict regulations on cash purchases of luxury items such as gold, diamonds, watches, and high-end vehicles has made this sector a hotspot for money laundering. Criminals can walk into a gold souk or a luxury car dealership, pay in cash, and walk away with assets that can be easily resold or transported across borders. The anonymity of these transactions, combined with the high value of the goods, makes it an attractive option for those looking to legitimize illicit funds. For instance, gold traders in Dubai have been implicated in cases where illegally mined gold from conflict zones was purchased with cash, refined, and then sold with Dubai certifications, effectively erasing its criminal origins. The informal hawala system, a traditional method of transferring money without physical movement, further exacerbates the problem. Widely used in Dubai due to its large expatriate population, hawala operates outside the formal banking system, relying on trust and networks of brokers to facilitate transactions. While hawala serves a legitimate purpose for many, its lack of transparency and oversight makes it a favored tool for criminals. Funds from illegal activities such as drug trafficking, human smuggling, or terrorism financing can be moved across borders with minimal documentation, leaving no trace for authorities to follow. The cash-intensive nature of hawala transactions, often conducted in small, unregulated shops, makes it nearly impossible to monitor or regulate effectively. Dubai's thriving hospitality and entertainment industry also contributes to the cash-based economy. High-end restaurants, nightclubs, and luxury hotels frequently deal in large cash transactions, providing another avenue for money laundering. criminals can use cash to pay for extravagant services, effectively integrating illicit funds into the legitimate economy. For example, a nightclub owner might accept large cash payments for private events or bottle service, with no questions asked about the source of the funds. This practice not only enables money laundering but also fosters a culture of discretion that prioritizes customer privacy over regulatory compliance. The lack of robust anti-money laundering (AML) measures in certain sectors has further entrenched the cash-based economy's vulnerabilities. While the UAE has introduced laws to combat money laundering, enforcement has often been inconsistent, particularly in free zones and informal markets. The absence of mandatory reporting for cash transactions below a certain threshold allows criminals to structure their dealings in a way that avoids detection. For instance, a criminal might make multiple small cash payments for luxury goods or real estate, staying below the radar while still moving significant sums of money. Moreover, the cultural normalization of cash transactions in Dubai has made it difficult to implement stricter regulations. Many businesses, particularly small and medium enterprises, rely on cash for their day-to-day operations, and any move to restrict cash dealings could face significant pushback. This reliance on cash, combined with the city's emphasis on privacy and discretion, creates an environment where financial crimes can thrive. In essence, Dubai's cash-based economy, while a reflection of its dynamic and diverse market, has become a double-edged sword. The same features that make the city attractive to legitimate investors and tourists, speed, convenience, and privacy, also make it a haven for criminals seeking to launder money, evade taxes, or finance illicit activities. While recent reforms have sought to address these issues, the deeply ingrained culture of cash transactions and the lack of comprehensive oversight continue to pose significant challenges. As Dubai strives to position itself as a global financial hub, striking a balance between facilitating legitimate business and preventing financial crime will remain a critical priority. Dubai's rapid ascent as a global hub for business, tourism, and luxury has been accompanied by a darker undercurrent, corruption and complicity at various levels of its society and institutions. While the city is often celebrated for its efficiency and modernity, instances of bribery, favoritism, and collusion have allowed criminal activities to flourish, often under the guise of legitimate business operations. This culture of corruption, though not unique to Dubai, has been particularly damaging given the city's role as a crossroads for global trade and finance. The interplay between powerful individuals, lax oversight, and a focus on economic growth over accountability has created an environment where criminals can operate with relative impunity. At the heart of this issue is the close relationship between business and government in Dubai. The city's development model, which relies heavily on public-private partnerships, has blurred the lines between regulatory oversight and commercial interests. In some cases, this has led to situations where influential business figures or government officials have turned a blind eye to illicit activities in exchange for personal gain. For example, real estate developers, eager to attract high-net-worth investors, may overlook the source of funds used to purchase luxury properties, enabling money laundering on a massive scale. Similarly, free zone authorities, tasked with promoting investment, may prioritize economic growth over rigorous due diligence, allowing shell companies and fraudulent entities to operate unchecked. The complicity of certain professionals, such as lawyers, accountants, and bankers, has also played a significant role in facilitating criminal activities. These individuals, often referred to as enablers, use their expertise to create complex financial structures that obscure the origins of illicit funds. For instance, a lawyer might help a criminal establish a network of offshore companies, while an accountant ensures that transactions are structured to avoid detection. In some cases, these professionals actively collaborate with criminals, providing them with the tools and knowledge needed to exploit legal and regulatory loopholes. The lack of stringent oversight and accountability in these professions has allowed such practices to persist, undermining efforts to combat financial crime. Another dimension of corruption in Dubai is the prevalence of bribery and kickbacks, particularly in sectors such as construction, procurement, and government contracts. The city's ambitious infrastructure projects, from towering skyscrapers to sprawling airports, have created opportunities for unscrupulous individuals to profit at the expense of transparency and fairness. Contractors may bribe officials to secure lucrative deals, while government employees may demand kickbacks in exchange for expediting permits or overlooking regulatory violations. These practices not only distort the market, but also create an environment where criminal behavior is normalized, making it easier for more serious offenses to go unnoticed. The role of intermediaries and fixers further exacerbates the problem. In Dubai's fast-paced business environment, these individuals act as gatekeepers, facilitating deals and navigating bureaucratic hurdles for a fee. While many intermediaries operate legitimately, others use their connections to broker illicit transactions, such as the sale of counterfeit goods, the laundering of stolen artifacts, or the movement of illicit funds. Their ability to operate in the shadows, often with the tacit approval of those in power, makes it difficult for authorities to detect and disrupt criminal networks. Dubai's legal system, while modern in many respects, has also been criticized for its lack of transparency and susceptibility to external influence. High-profile cases involving wealthy individuals or powerful entities are often handled with a degree of discretion that raises questions about fairness and impartiality. For example, individuals accused of financial crimes or corruption may use their wealth and connections to delay or derail legal proceedings, ensuring that they face minimal consequences. This perception of impunity not only undermines public trust, but also emboldens others to engage in similar behavior. The international dimension of corruption in Dubai cannot be overlooked. The city's status as a global hub attracts individuals and entities from around the world, many of whom bring with them practices that are illegal or unethical in their home countries. For instance, foreign officials accused of embezzling public funds may use Dubai as a safe haven, investing stolen money in real estate or luxury goods while evading prosecution. Similarly, multinational corporations may exploit Dubai's business-friendly environment to engage in bribery or tax evasion, often with the complicity of local partners. Efforts to combat corruption in Dubai have been hampered by a lack of political will and institutional capacity. While the UAE has introduced anti-corruption laws and established agencies to investigate financial crimes, enforcement has often been inconsistent. High-profile cases are rare, and whistleblowers face significant risks, discouraging individuals from coming forward with information. The absence of a free press and civil society organizations further limits the ability to expose and address corruption, creating a culture of silence and complicity. In summary, corruption and complicity in Dubai are deeply entrenched issues that have allowed criminal activities to thrive in the shadows of the city's glittering facade. The interplay between powerful individuals, lax oversight, and a focus on economic growth over accountability has created an environment where illicit behavior is often overlooked or even encouraged. While recent reforms and international pressure have brought some improvements, the challenge of rooting out corruption remains significant. Addressing this issue will require not only stronger laws and enforcement, but also a cultural shift towards greater transparency, accountability, and ethical governance. Only then can Dubai truly fulfill its potential as a global hub for legitimate business and innovation. Dubai's rapid digital transformation, marked by its embrace of cutting-edge technology and smart city initiatives, has positioned it as a global leader in innovation. However, this same technological advancement has also made it a fertile ground for cybercrime and digital exploitation. As the city becomes increasingly interconnected, criminals have leveraged its sophisticated digital infrastructure to commit a wide range of cyber offenses, from financial fraud and data breaches to hacking and online scams. The anonymity, speed, and global reach of the digital realm have made it an attractive tool for criminals, while the lack of robust cybersecurity measures and international cooperation has allowed these activities to proliferate. One of the most significant challenges in combating cybercrime in Dubai is the sheer scale and complexity of the threat. Cybercriminals operate across borders, often using advanced techniques to evade detection and prosecution. For instance, phishing scams, where criminals trick individuals into revealing sensitive information such as passwords or credit card details, are rampant in Dubai's digital landscape. These scams often target the city's large expatriate population, many of whom rely on digital platforms for banking, shopping, and communication. The lack of awareness and cybersecurity literacy among users makes them particularly vulnerable to such attacks. Another major issue is the rise of ransomware attacks, where criminals encrypt a victim's data and demand payment for its release. Dubai's businesses, particularly small and medium enterprises, SMEs, are frequent targets due to their often limited cybersecurity defenses. In some cases, entire operations have been brought to a halt, resulting in significant financial losses and reputational damage. The anonymity provided by cryptocurrencies, which are often used to facilitate ransom payments, further complicates efforts to track and apprehend the perpetrators. Dubai's financial sector, a cornerstone of its economy, has also been a prime target for cybercriminals. Banks, investment firms, and payment processors face constant threats from hackers seeking to steal funds or sensitive customer data. In one high-profile case, a Dubai-based bank was targeted by a sophisticated cyber attack that resulted in the theft of millions of dollars. The attackers used social engineering techniques to gain access to the bank systems, highlighting the human element as a critical vulnerability in cybersecurity defenses. The city's real estate sector, known for its high-value transactions, has also been exploited by cybercriminals. Fraudsters have used fake websites and forged documents to deceive buyers and investors, often resulting in significant financial losses. For example, a scam involving a fake luxury property development in Dubai duped dozens of investors into paying millions of dollars for non-existent apartments. The digital nature of these transactions, combined with the lack of stringent verification processes, made it easy for the criminals to operate undetected. Dubai's role as a global trade hub has also made it a target for cyber espionage and intellectual property theft. Companies operating in sectors such as technology, manufacturing, and logistics face constant threats from hackers seeking to steal trade secrets, customer data, or proprietary information. These attacks are often state-sponsored or carried out by organized crime groups, highlighting the sophisticated and well-resourced nature of the threat. The lack of international cooperation and information sharing further complicates efforts to combat these activities, as cybercriminals often operate from jurisdictions with lax cybersecurity laws. The rise of the dark web has added another layer of complexity to the issue. The dark web, a hidden part of the internet that is not indexed by traditional search engines, is a haven for illegal activities, including the sale of stolen data, drugs, and weapons. Dubai's digital infrastructure, while advanced, has inadvertently facilitated access to these illicit markets. Cybercriminals in Dubai have been known to use the dark web to buy and sell sensitive information, such as credit card details or personal identities, often with little fear of being caught. The lack of comprehensive cybersecurity regulations and enforcement mechanisms in Dubai has further exacerbated the problem. While the UAE has introduced laws to combat cybercrime, such as the Cybercrime Law of 2012, enforcement has often been inconsistent. Many businesses, particularly SMEs, lack the resources or expertise to implement robust cybersecurity measures, making them easy targets for cybercriminals. Additionally, the rapid pace of technological change often outstrips the ability of regulators to keep up, creating gaps that criminals can exploit. Efforts to combat cybercrime in Dubai are further hindered by the lack of public awareness and education. Many individuals and businesses are unaware of the risks posed by cyber threats or how to protect themselves. This lack of awareness makes it easier for criminals to carry out their activities, as victims are often unaware that they have been targeted until it is too late. In summary, Dubai's digital transformation, while a source of immense opportunity, has also created significant vulnerabilities that cybercriminals have been quick to exploit. The anonymity, speed, and global reach of the digital realm, combined with the lack of robust cybersecurity measures and international cooperation, have made the city a hotspot for cybercrime. Addressing this issue will require a multifaceted approach, including stronger regulations, better enforcement, increased public awareness, and greater international collaboration. Only by tackling these challenges head-on can Dubai hope to secure its digital future and protect its residents, businesses, and reputation from the growing threat of cybercrime. Dubai's free zones, designed to attract foreign investment and stimulate economic growth, have become a double-edged sword. While these zones have played a pivotal role in transforming Dubai into a global business hub, their semi-autonomous governance and lax regulatory oversight have also made them attractive to criminals. Free zones, such as the Jebel Ali Free Zone, JAFZA, Dubai Multi-Commodities Center, DMCC, and Dubai International Financial Center, DFC, offer businesses tax exemptions, full foreign ownership, and streamlined administrative processes. However, these same features have been exploited by individuals and entities seeking to engage in illicit activities, from money laundering and fraud to smuggling and tax evasion. One of the primary issues with Dubai's free zones is the lack of consistent regulatory oversight. While federal agencies like the UAE Central Bank and the Ministry of Economy are responsible for enforcing anti-money laundering, AML, and counterterrorism financing, CTF, laws, free zones often operate with a degree of independence that allows them to set their own rules. This fragmented regulatory landscape creates gaps that criminals can exploit. For example, companies registered in free zones may not be subject to the same level of scrutiny as those operating in the mainland, making it easier to establish shell companies or engage in fraudulent activities. Shell companies, which exist only on paper and have no real business operations, are a common tool for criminals in Dubai's free zones. These entities can be used to obscure the ownership of assets, launder money, or facilitate illegal transactions. In some cases, criminals use nominee directors, individuals who appear as the legal owners of a company but have no real control over its operations, to further conceal their activities. The ease with which these companies can be established, often with minimal documentation or verification, has made free zones a haven for illicit financial flows. The real estate sector within free zones is particularly vulnerable to abuse. High-value properties, such as office spaces or warehouses, can be purchased through shell companies, allowing criminals to park illicit funds in tangible assets. The lack of transparency in property transactions, combined with the absence of mandatory beneficial ownership registries, makes it difficult for authorities to trace the true owners of these assets. In one notable case, a network of shell companies registered in a Dubai free zone was used to purchase luxury properties worth millions of dollars, with the proceeds later linked to an international money laundering operation. Another area of concern is the trade of commodities within free zones. Dubai's free zones are major hubs for the trade of gold, diamonds, and other high-value goods, making them attractive to criminals involved in smuggling or the trade of conflict minerals. For example, gold mined in conflict zones or under illegal conditions can be brought into Dubai's free zones, refined, and then sold with legitimate certifications, effectively erasing its criminal origins. The lack of stringent checks on the origin and movement of these goods has allowed such practices to flourish. The informal hawala system, which operates outside traditional banking channels, is also prevalent in Dubai's free zones. This system, which relies on trust and networks of brokers to transfer funds, is often used by expatriates to send money to their home countries. However, its lack of transparency and oversight makes it a favored tool for criminals. Funds from illegal activities, such as drug trafficking or terrorism financing, can be moved through hawala networks with minimal documentation, leaving no trace for authorities to follow. The cash-intensive nature of these transactions, often conducted in small, unregulated shops within free zones, further complicates efforts to monitor or regulate them. The role of intermediaries and service providers within free zones cannot be overlooked. Lawyers, accountants, and company formation agents often play a key role in facilitating illicit activities. These professionals may help criminals establish shell companies, structure transactions to avoid detection, or provide false documentation to legitimize illegal activities. In some cases, they actively collaborate with criminals, using their expertise to exploit regulatory loopholes. The lack of accountability and oversight in these professions has allowed such practices to persist, undermining efforts to combat financial crime. Dubai's free zones also face challenges in terms of international cooperation and information sharing. While the UAE has signed agreements to combat transnational crime, practical cooperation on the ground is often limited. Law enforcement agencies in other countries frequently report difficulties in obtaining timely and accurate information from their UAE counterparts, particularly when it comes to activities within free zones. This lack of coordination creates a perception of impunity, encouraging criminals to view free zones as safe havens where they can operate without fear of being held accountable. Efforts to address these issues have been hampered by the economic importance of free zones to Dubai's economy. These zones contribute significantly to the city's GDP and provide employment for thousands of people, creating a reluctance to impose stricter regulations that could deter investment. However, the lack of robust oversight has come at a cost, with free zones increasingly being associated with illicit activities. In summary, Dubai's free zones, while a cornerstone of its economic success, have also become a magnet for criminal activity. The lack of consistent regulatory oversight, combined with the ease of establishing shell companies and the prevalence of cash-based transactions, has created an environment where illicit activities can thrive. Addressing these challenges will require a balanced approach that strengthens oversight and enforcement while maintaining the economic benefits that free zones bring. Only by tackling these issues head-on can Dubai ensure that its free zones remain engines of legitimate growth rather than havens for crime. Dubai's meteoric rise as a global city, a melting pot of cultures, businesses, and opportunities, has been fueled by its embrace of globalization. However, this very openness has also rendered it a sanctuary for criminals who exploit the anonymity and complexity of a hyper-connected world. The city's identity as a cosmopolitan hub, where over 200 nationalities coexist and transact, creates an environment where individuals can easily disappear into the crowd, shielded by the sheer diversity and fluidity of its population. This anonymity, combined with Dubai's relentless drive to attract global capital and talent, has inadvertently lowered barriers for those seeking to evade detection while operating illicit enterprises. At the core of this issue is Dubai's status as a global crossroads. The city's population is overwhelmingly expatriate, with foreigners comprising nearly 90% of its residents. While this diversity is a source of economic vitality, it also complicates law enforcement efforts. Criminals capitalize on the transient nature of the population, assuming false identities, leveraging forged documents, or adopting the personas of legitimate professionals to blend in. For instance, a fugitive from Europe might pose as a consultant in Dubai's thriving business sector, using fabricated credentials to secure a residency visa and operate under the radar. The lack of a centralized, interoperable database to verify international backgrounds across jurisdictions further enables such deception. The globalization of Dubai's economy has also normalized high levels of financial and operational secrecy. The city's business ecosystem, designed to attract multinational corporations and entrepreneurs, allows companies to be registered with minimal disclosure of beneficial ownership. In free zones, offshore entities, and mainland businesses alike, layers of shell companies and nominee shareholders obscure the true controllers of assets. This opacity is exploited by criminals to launder money, evade sanctions, or finance illegal activities. For example, a drug cartel might channel proceeds through a web of Dubai-based trading firms, each registered under different names, but controlled by the same criminal network, making it nearly impossible for authorities to untangle the scheme. Dubai's role as a global tourism and transportation hub further amplifies the risks. With over 16 million international visitors annually and world-class airports serving as transit points for millions more, the city's borders are porous to those with malicious intent. Human traffickers, cybercriminals, and fraudsters exploit Dubai's visa-free or visa-on-arrival policies for dozens of nationalities, entering the city under the guise of tourism or business travel. Once inside, they leverage Dubai's advanced logistics infrastructure, such as courier services, shipping networks, and digital payment platforms, to coordinate cross-border crimes. A cybercriminal in Dubai, for instance, could remotely orchestrate phishing attacks targeting victims in Asia, Europe, and the Americas, using the city's internet infrastructure as a secure base. The anonymity afforded by Dubai's luxury lifestyle cannot be understated. The city's culture of exclusivity and discretion, particularly in high-end communities, allows wealthy individuals to live in gated compounds, private islands, or penthouses with minimal interaction with authorities. This isolation, combined with the normalization of cash transactions and elite services, private banking, concierge healthcare, etc., enables criminals to maintain low profiles. A corrupt official from a politically unstable region, for example, might invest stolen public funds in a Palm Jumeirah villa, using offshore accounts and discreet property managers to avoid scrutiny. The city's emphasis on hospitality and non-interference in the affairs of foreign visitors further discourages probing questions about the origins of wealth. Technological globalization has compounded these challenges. Dubai's push to become a smart city has integrated advanced technologies, blockchain, AI, and digital ID systems into its governance and economy. While these innovations enhance efficiency, they also create vulnerabilities. Cybercriminals exploit gaps in digital infrastructure to launch attacks, while tech-savvy fraudsters use deepfake technology or synthetic identities to bypass biometric checks. Cryptocurrencies, though regulated in the UAE, are still leveraged by criminals to move funds across borders anonymously, with Dubai's crypto-friendly policies inadvertently providing cover for these transactions. Moreover, the globalization of supply chains has turned Dubai's ports and free zones into conduits for illicit trade. The city's Jebel Ali port, a linchpin in global shipping routes, processes millions of containers annually. Criminal networks exploit this volume by misdeclaring cargo, labeling smuggled goods as legitimate products, or hiding contraband within legal shipments. For instance, illegal wildlife parts from Africa might be routed through Dubai with falsified permits, or counterfeit pharmaceuticals from Asia might be repackaged in free zones before being distributed globally. The complexity of international trade documentation and the pressure to keep goods moving quickly make thorough inspections rare, allowing illicit items to slip through. Dubai's media and entertainment landscape, shaped by global influences, also plays a role. Social media platforms, widely used in the city for marketing and networking, are weaponized by criminals to recruit accomplices, advertise illegal services, or spread disinformation. The city's status as a regional media hub, with lax content moderation in some sectors, allows fraudulent investment schemes or fake news to proliferate, targeting victims both locally and abroad. In essence, Dubai's success as a globalized city has created a paradox. The same features that attract legitimate businesses and innovators, openness, connectivity, and cultural diversity, also provide cover for transnational criminal networks. The anonymity afforded by its transient population, financial secrecy, and technological sophistication has turned the city into a labyrinth where illicit activities can thrive in the shadows of legitimacy. Addressing this challenge requires reconciling Dubai's ambitions as a global hub with a need for greater transparency, international collaboration, and adaptive regulatory frameworks that keep pace with the evolving tactics of globalized crime.